Day 2 of Celebrate 21. Hey guys, my name is Brian Pitt. I am with the Century 21 University faculty, and we are thrilled to have you guys here. 21 days of learning. That's a lot of learning. Every single day, you guys are going to have an opportunity to learn something new to move your business forward, right? So I want to make sure that everyone gets a great experience with this class today. First, a couple of housekeeping things. Remember, as much as we love to see you, and I know some of you come to our Century 21 University classes, and we always say, turn your video on, turn your video on, turn your video on. Well, we've got a lot of people on today, and we want to make sure that everyone has enough bandwidth. So please be sure to turn your video off. Also, make sure you mute your phone. We're going to allow you to ask questions, and you can do that by the chat. So a lot of you have already gone in and noted where you're from. I actually saw Lima, Peru is here, right? So thank you for that. Use the chat, and I'm going to monitor the chat, and I will be talking with our presenter today to make sure that your question gets heard. So make sure you use the chat. Also, we have made it possible for you to get recordings of all of our sessions. So all of the sessions within Celebrate 21, you have access to the recordings because you have gone in and registered for the Celebrate 21 event. To access those recordings, all you need to do is go to celebrate21learningsessions.splashthat.com. You put in your access code, the same code that you used to get to your class today, and that will take you directly to the recordings. As you'll see, yesterday's recordings are already there. Again, celebrate21learningsessions.splashthat.com. When I'm finished, I'll go ahead and put it into the chat for you so you all can copy it directly from the chat. Let me go through. Also, in our workplace group, at Century 21 University Workplace Group, for those of you who are in the United States and have access to Workplace, every week we will post the classes that are available. Not just Celebrate 21 classes, but all of the Century 21 University classes as well, right? So make sure you go to Century 21 University and you can actually see the week's calendar posted there at the Century 21 University group. Like I mentioned, 21 days is a lot of learning. So tomorrow, we will have our first general session. And our general session is going to have a special speaker. We have a special speaker lined up for you, and that is John O'Leary. That class starts, it's not a class, it's actually the general session. That will start right at 3 p.m. And then on Thursday, we're going to be back here with your learning team on a class about listing presentations. And I know everyone has a lot of questions about listing presentations, especially right now. It's like, well, where do we get the inventory? So it's important that you have that confidence so that you can go out and start really diving into getting more inventory for you, your company, and your market share, growing that market share. So be sure to mark your calendar for Thursday at 3 p.m. as well as Wednesday at 3 p.m. for our general session. Now, today, I am really, really excited to bring you guys, hailing from our Empire State, Lori Adams from Century 21 Winkelhofer. Lori is an amazing producer. You know, Lori has been a Centurion producer for the last 3 years. Congratulations, Lori. That's amazing. A 3-time Centurion producer. Lori's also an associate broker at Century 21 Winkelhofer and has had her license for 15 years. 14 of those 15 years, Lori has been a broker. She's had her broker's license. So we're going to have an opportunity to hear about business planning from a true subject matter expert. Lori, are you there?
I'm here.
Ah, there you are. Hey, Lori. I'm going to let you go from here.
Hey, that sounds great. Good morning, everybody. Or good afternoon, I guess I should say. So starting off here, so what we're going to be talking about today is working on a business plan and the secrets that you need to succeed. When I was asked if I wanted to do a presentation, I was wondering, why me? What am I doing that's so different from everybody else? And who am I? So I'm Lori Adams. As Brian had said, I'm having trouble advancing my slides here a second, Brian. So
Not a problem. Let's see if you go to the bottom,
yeah,
you should.
okay. I don't know. I had a delay. That's what was throwing me
There we
off. I'm
go.
sorry. Okay,
Not a
so
problem.
I've been an associate broker for 14 years. I've had my real estate license for 15. I truly got my associate broker license before I even understood what it was, but I did it because I thought it made me sound smarter if I told people I was an associate broker. I've been a consistent top producer for my first year in real estate, and I was a 2020 Centurion and Quality Service Award winner. So what they asked me to speak about today was about business planning and how important that is for you to create a plan for your business. So the first question that I ask is, do I need a business plan? Well, I believe everybody needs a business plan, and I think you need a plan in life just to continue forward so that you can make progress. So what really is a business plan? It's merely writing down your goals and holding yourself accountable to the goals that you set for yourself and setting realistic goals. If you don't have it as a plan, a goal without a plan is just a wish. And so we're hoping today to encourage you to be setting some goals. So if you would mind typing in the chat box, what is one word that you would just use to describe your past business plan goals? Sorry, I have to move my box. That would you to describe your past business plans? What is one word that you would use to describe that? If you could type it in the chat, and Brian, if you could read some of those to me.
Sure, absolutely. So we started with none, then simple, met them, hit or miss, tornado, centurion from Johnny Knight. Good job, Johnny. Focused, flexible. They're rolling in now. Easy as possible. Lost, over ambitious. Focus.
Okay, so what I did is I pulled some people in the real estate industry and just asked them the specific questions. And these are some of the answers that I got. Strategic, foolproof. I don't know of anybody's plan who is foolproof, but I'll take it. Aggressive. Some people have an aggressive personality, others don't. It doesn't happen to be my personality, but obviously I'm focused at what I do, so maybe I am a little aggressive and just don't admit to it. Tactical, where everything is planned. Non-existent. You don't want to be the person that wakes up every day and says, what am I going to do today? Or unachievable, where you set your goals so high that you're never going to be able to achieve what you set. Or outdated. You've been in the industry a long time and you're still continuing to do things the way you did 20 years ago. You're going to be left in the dust at some point because our industry changes continually. So a business plan really is to focus on where am I now and where do I want to be. It's as simple as that. If you look for business plans online, there's a million of them available, but they go from a single page to 30 or 40 pages. And I'm more of a single page person where I like to look at where I am now and where do I want to be. It's a type of business where you need to always focus on where you've been in the past, not dwell on it, but continue to keep the momentum moving forward. So in a business plan, what you're looking for is to look back at where you've been. It's important to know where you've been so you know what you can do moving forward. If you are new to the business and you don't have the statistics to figure out where you've been, that's okay. Just start moving forward and writing down your business plan as to where you want to move to. So when you start to set up your goals for a business plan, you want to hold your goal to be to the SMART analysis. So the goal that I've chosen is that I would like to earn $50,000 a year in real estate. So the first thing that I ask myself is it specific? I think it's pretty specific with the amount of money that I'm looking to earn and how long it's going to take me to do that. My time is specified, it's within a year. An important factor is that you have to ask yourself is why? Why am I doing this? For some people, they like the notoriety, they like the social interaction. For some people, it's just a job and it's a means to an end. But you always need to ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Is the goal measurable? I certainly can figure out how much commission I'm earning by the checks that I receive. Is the goal achievable? Well, I know that this goal is achievable for me. For some people, it's going to be a stretch. Other people, it's something that you're going to do on a consistent basis. Is it relevant? Well, it's certainly relevant to be able to pay my bills and to be able to move forward. And it's time bound. You always need to put a time on your goals for you to say that, boy, today I'm going to sell more houses, or this month I'm going to make more cold calls. If you don't set it out to be a by when or how many that you're going to do, it's easy to slip into I'll do it tomorrow rather than do it today. So what I have to look at is, what do I need to do to earn $50,000 per year in real estate? So I'm going to make some assumptions. I'm going to assume that you're going to be working 50 weeks a year, 50 weeks of vacation. And I'm going to work 8 hours a day. I'm going to work 5 days a week. So that's a total of 2,000 hours yearly that I'm working. If I divide that by $50,000, that means my value is about $25 an hour. So why is my value important? Well, one of the reasons that it's important is you should figure out what your value is to know what you can delegate to other people. One thing that I learned during the pandemic was that you don't have to grocery shop for yourself. Well, it doesn't seem like that would help in selling real estate. But when I'm in my busy season and it's 9 o'clock at night and I know my family's home and I don't have groceries, I feel guilty and I don't want to go, and then I have to do it tomorrow. And it's just a constant stressor for me. So because of the pandemic, I ended up starting to use Instacart. So not only can I order my groceries, my family can order them, but they're delivered to my front door. And that frees me up to continue to do what I do to earn the money that it takes me to support my family. So when I have Instacart delivered to my house, it costs me about $10 with tip and delivery. It's certainly less than $25 per hour of the value that I've interpreted for myself as to what I need to do. You also may have a college student that could take over some of your social media, some of your mailings, different things that you can do so that you can focus on the things that earn you money. So what you also need to know is, what is the average sale price in your area? So I'm from Buffalo, New York. We are in an extremely competitive seller's market, as I think most of the country is right now due to our low inventory. And our average sale price of a house in Buffalo as of January of this year is $207,000. I'm going to make some assumptions that it's going to be a 3% commission with a 50% broker split, which means that I would be earning $3,118 on that sale. So how many houses do I need to sell to achieve that $50,000 goal? Assuming I'm going to get $3,000 for each one, I need to sell 17 houses yearly so that I can earn $50,000 in real estate this year, which equates to about 1.5 average houses a month. So then you have to look at, how many contacts do I need to get to make one appointment? I know that I need to get in front of people to be able to sell houses, but how many people do I need to touch before I can get that one appointment? So everybody's numbers here are going to be different. What I did is I used some national average numbers, and the national average is 35 is the number of contacts that you need to make to get one single appointment. So how many appointments do you need to make to get a closed sale? The national average for that is 4. So this means that I need to contact 2,380 people this year, or 10 people per day, to achieve the goal that I set for myself. It also means that I need 68 appointments on average to get my 17 closed transactions. So if I set a goal for myself and I started by saying that I need to contact 2,380 people, I would already have shut down, because I know that that seems like an impossible task. But if I tell you that you only have to do 10 per day, that sure seems a lot easier, and you're only working 5 days. So this is
Hey,
a chart
Lori,
that, yep.
I'm going to, there's a couple of things. First, I want to just point out what a great point that you've made. A couple of things. One, the Instacart point. That I'm sitting here like, oh, wow, so amazing, right? To yesterday our conversation was about systems and setting up those systems. And you just spoke directly to that in business planning. And I think the key of business planning, of course, is planning. But when you say, hey, the pandemic taught me something. It taught me that I don't have to grocery shop. There are so many things that we can take off our calendar to free us up to do more business, right? And that point alone, that just blew my mind. I love that.
Well, it was so surprising for me because it was a constant stress. It seemed like the dog was always out of food, or so we didn't have lunch meat. My son works from home, so like, well, if he doesn't have stuff for lunch, and it's something that's always fooling around in the back of my mind. And to me, I guess it seemed like it was lazy to use Instacart. And now I found I'm happy to pay somebody, and I'm happy to tip them generously because I didn't have to do it. And it's just one more thing that I don't have to worry about that I used to worry about continually.
Yeah. And the other thing that I love that you said, and guys, for everyone that's out there, one of the things that we wanted to bring to you within Celebrate 21 was the voice from you, from the agents. So we went out and we spoke to subject matter experts like Lori to give us a different perspective. And I love what you said, Lori. You said, if I had to start out my year knowing that I had to, 2380 was the number, I think.
Yep.
Of course, anyone's going to give up, right? I mean, it's like me when
you start.
Right. I'm always like, hey, I'm going to lose 30 pounds. But when I break it down, if I were to break it down and just say, hey, you know what? A healthy way to lose weight is what? 1.5 pounds per week? That's doable. And that's why I love what you put there, that you broke it down into how many you need per day. So great job. I love that. And I'm really excited about going forward. I do have a note in the chat that your audio keeps going in and out. I think maybe, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure. Maybe speak up a little bit.
Okay.
And the other, I wish I had Instacart where I live. I'm sure there are other services, but like Lori said, you may have I think you said this, right? You might have a college student that could do it for you, find someone that can do it for you if possible. But the key is to free yourself up to hit your business goals. So I love that. Thank you. I'm going to go out now.
Okay. So here on the left is a chart that I had built for myself. It's an Excel spreadsheet that has my average sale price, assuming all the assumptions that we made with the commissions. And what I have is a chart that goes along on the side of this where I can put my actual numbers in. So I know where I'm headed and what I'm doing. I know that I sell between 40 and 60 houses a year. So the goal I set for myself personally is that I need to sell a house a week. And we have to remember that there's seasonality in our business, that the same business that you're doing in January is not the same business that you're doing in May, especially in a place here like Buffalo. We're pretty slow in the colder months. And then there's things about the market that there's some things that you just can't overcome and that you can't change. Your plan needs to be flexible. So the one thing that I've learned most from looking at all the numbers that I've done over the years, I got from this book. And these are all the things that you didn't learn in real estate school. And it's a pretty thick book, as you can see. So what you need to look at is how much business is required to reach your goal. And it depends on what your goal is. Not everybody has the same goals. Some people prefer to work with buyers. Some people prefer to work with sellers. Especially in the market we're in right now, working with the seller is pretty much a guaranteed sale, and working with the buyer is days of frustration, running out the first day that a house is on the market, showing it to them, writing offers, not getting anything. It's been a little crazy with our inventory. And your ratio of how many buyer appointments you go on to buyer transactions you have, or seller appointments to seller transaction, is generally different. And the one thing you have to remember is I know I need to sell 17 houses to achieve that goal, but not every deal goes to completion. So you do need to build in some potential holds. So I would be better off to set my sights on hopefully selling 19 houses, and if they all come to fruition, great, but if I lose one, I'm not going to fall short of my goal. You have to look at what your time commitment is. I'm a full-time agent. I'm the sole supporter of my family. So I know that I need to continue to put as much time and effort in as I can to keep my family in the same lifestyle that we have. Some people are part-time agents, some people are second job agents. Whatever your time commitment is, just make sure that you're doing the best you can to achieve your goals. The goals that you create attainable. I think one of the most frustrating things is, like you mentioned about dieting, if you start out saying, boy, I need to lose 50 pounds, and you're never going to eat again, and by lunch you've only had water, and pretty soon you're going to be looking for a donut instead of following through with what you're doing. If you set stuff that are unattainable, it's only going to lead to frustration for you. I know that I sell between 40 and 60 houses a year. So if I set a goal for myself to sell 100 this year, I know it's not going to happen. I know that my systems are not going to change that much. It'd be wonderful if it did. But not being able to reach that goal would be pretty frustrating. So I try not to set my goals too high, even though I continue to try to always push myself. You do need to research and analyze your local market data. When you're out talking to clients, they need to know that you're the expert in the area. One of the statistics I've been using lately is that in 2011, we had 6,800 houses available on the market in the Buffalo area. Today, we have a little more than 800. We're 6,000 houses short of where we were 10 years ago. So our market has just become extremely competitive. And the other thing that I'd like you to look at is accountability. It's always good to have somebody that's willing to talk to you and help you through, whether it be a work buddy, a manager. I did find, though, I had Achilles tendon surgery a couple of years ago, and my husband drove me around for 2 months, and he decided he was going to be my accountability buddy. I do not recommend that for anybody. You need someone that's in the business that understands what you're doing. Ryan, I have somebody looking for remote access to my screen. I have to approve or decline it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yes, you can go ahead and decline that because,
Okay. Alrighty.
Thank you.
And it popped back up and it's not letting me advance. I declined it again.
Okay.
It's Joyce Clary.
Yep. Well, Joyce isn't going to get access today. Joyce, if you can do me a favor and retract that access, that would be great.
Okay, there I go. I can move again.
Great. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So how do we go about achieving these goals? Well, my goal is to sell houses, and these are some of the ways that you can use to create clients or retain clients. One of these is farming. If you're going to farm, you need to be consistent in what you do, and you need to give people relevant topics. There's many people that market, say, a high-end subdivision or something, and if you're not giving people relevant content, it's just going straight in the trash. Client referrals, this is where the majority of my business comes from, so it is something that I focus on. It is one of the easiest ways to pick up a client if a friend has already referred you. People already have some respect for you because a friend has respect for you. So what you need to do is earn their trust and dazzle them with your knowledge. The internet, there's so many different ways on the internet that you can go about looking for clients. What has been very successful for me is my social media. I have all of the more well-known social media accounts. I really don't do anything with anything other than Facebook. And my Facebook is 100% open. I don't make anything private. And I make that be the person that I want to be on there. I make sure that, I don't use foul language. I don't, make off-color jokes. I don't do anything that I wouldn't want my mother to see as I say it. But the more people that know about you and know about what you do, you want them to think of you as the real estate expert.
Lori, we're still getting a lot of questions about sound. So it does sound like, do you have a headphone or something that you can, or a microphone that you can click in?
I don't. I just moved it a little closer, if that'll help.
So let's try that, and we'll see if we can get it. Now someone said the sound is fine on their end. So
Oh, yeah. I'm
we're
on
gonna.
I'm on a wired internet connection, so it should be a good connection.
Okay, all
Is
right.
that
So
any
let's
better? Because I'm
just.
closer.
It sounds good to me. I'm getting it's better now. It's better. Sounds good to me, and I'm driving much better. Okay,
Okay,
fantastic.
perfect. Okay,
Thank you.
so I'm a little closer. Sorry, I'm so close. Um, so when I post on my Facebook account, when you might want to have somebody take a look at your account that you don't know very well. I've asked people to look and, what does this, is it a reflection of me? It says, well, it looks like you have kids that you like, you have a dog, you have a rabbit, spend a lot of time with your niece, and oh yeah, you sell real estate. And that's exactly how I want my focus to be. I want people to always know that this is what I do, but I don't drown them in real estate advertising. I share all my listings once. I share any open houses once. I share any relevant articles from the newspaper or anything about our housing industry. But I don't come right out and say, buy a house for me, sell a house, what can I do? I just make it known. I will make comments, someone posts that they have a dog house. I'll say, oh, I can sell that for you, and you just joke. But things like that I think that that's important. And to, again, be consistent and interact with people. Just like anything, you start out, if you're like, oh, I'm going to post 10 times a day, and after the third day, you're no longer doing it, it's ineffective. So you have to be consistent with what you do. The auction websites are something that it's personally not something that I want to do. Door knocking is something that I've never done. It's not done in our industry, in our area that I know of, but I'm sure some people could do that. Floor time is always something that I felt was important. The second year I got my real estate license, I bought a business and I went back to college full time. I was a mother of 2 middle school boys, and it was very easy to say, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do that tomorrow. So I made it where I worked on Wednesday mornings from 9 to noon at the office, and that was my dedicated real estate time. Even if the phone wasn't ringing, I was here, I was doing real estate, I was listening to what people were doing. And that's when I was doing my advertising, when I was doing my, doing Facebook, doing, updating my profiles and things on different websites. And I always made sure that I had that time. And then it just expanded from there. It's like, well, I'm busy on Wednesdays, so I guess I better go on Thursday. And it kept me focused as that I knew that I had time that I was going to be here. Just listed, just sold postcards. I've done those on and off. I usually partner with a local mortgage lender. They pay to do the postcards. All I have to do is pay the postage to send them out. Our MLS has some reverse prospecting that I've done.
That's the one that should.
The blogging, our company has a company that actually does blogging for us. They take real estate articles, and that's what I put out on my Instagram and Twitter, that I don't do myself, but it does go out, so that there's relevant articles going out there from me. Agent referrals, I meet a lot of agents either by going to local association meetings or statewide or national meetings, and I think those are great. It's easy money when you can just call somebody and say, hey, can you take care of this client for me and just pay me a referral fee. Cold calling is something that I've never done. I've done flyers through the post office. We've published a local magazine here locally that we used for a while. I think networking is something that is often overlooked. If that is what you like to do, if you're into artwork, you should make sure that you go to art galleries and, be handing out your business card when you talk to people. When my kids were in sports, if they played baseball, I was the team manager. If they played football, I was the team manager. They were in Boy Scouts, I was the committee chairperson. And everything that I sign with my real estate signature, so that each person that I'm sending something about football to is getting that subtle touch that I'm a real estate agent. Newspaper ads, our local paper, they had the home finder, which came out on Saturdays, and our local board came out with, we're doing a separate of our own newspaper ad, and the cost is about a quarter of what it was with the large ad. So maybe look at some way to save some money on newspaper advertising. Open houses, I did many more of them when I was a newer agent. but I have other people that do them for me now. And the main reason is that so I have some free time. There was points where, you're working 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day, and I just realized that I had to come up with a work-life and life balance. And radio and TV advertising are something my company does.
Lori, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
First of all, there's a question in the chat that's specific to you, and I love that they're asking as a subject matter expert, asking a question about the time you spend on Facebook. But I want to preface that by saying, specifically, as Lori has mentioned, think of these as the ingredients to get you to your final number, and that's your goal in your plan. So there may be you personally, not you, Lori, but you personally may spend more time doing certain things or less time, or you may not do something. But Lori, the question in the chat is, how much time do you spend on Facebook?
I would probably say too much, but I love connecting with people. So if I go to the grocery store, I talk to the clerk. If I go through the toll booth, I talk to the toll booth collector. I always say my heart is bigger than my brain. So even though like they're Facebook friends, to me, they're real people, and I love connecting with them. I'll check Facebook to find out, if somebody gets so-and-so out of the hospital, and it's nobody that I really know, but I genuinely feel connected to the people. So I do go on every day. I start my day every morning when I wake up. The first thing I do is I go through my emails and then I check Facebook. Get ready, go to the office, probably check Facebook again, and then between appointments or something, I'm probably looking at it. And then I do my emails and do that again before bedtime. So I found just so I still live in the area that I grew up in. I'm a lifelong resident here. So I'm friends with so many people. I went to a very large high school, and I have done so much business because of being active in my high school groups and different things. So it is probably one of my biggest areas that I get leads from is from old friends or people that I've connected with through social media. Does that answer the question?
I think so. And we've had a couple more come in as well. And I love the point that you said that it's for connections and you maintain those connections. That is so, so vital. Another question was from a newer agent. How or what do you do to analyze your local market? Do you use the MLS?
So I also teach at a local level for our board of realtors, and I show people how to find that data to look. Our board actually sums it up. It's literally a button that you push if you know where to push that tells me how many listings there are on our MLS page. We have a graph that shows you different trends. That's the first thing I see when I look up what's going on. But then I also read all the articles in our local newspaper and I compare it to other parts of the country. I've always been an avid reader. But when you're out talking to somebody and you can spit out a statistic where you can say, oh, there's 800 houses on the market right now, or we have an area called Grand Island. I looked today for a client, and the whole island, we have 9 houses for sale. If those are things that I say to people, it lends to credibility that they know what I'm talking about. And it's really just because I did it for a client and I'm like, holy cow, there's only 9 houses. But that's how you stay relevant in what you do. Is to know what's going on around you. And you just have to know a little bit more than the people that you're out with to gain credibility from them.
I love that. Good job. Thank you. Yep. And just got to thank you in the chat as well. The last question that we have comes back to the Facebook. And the question is, do you do Facebook ads?
I've never done a Facebook ad. Over time, I know when I first started this, I'm telling people, like, you should go on this thing. You can actually talk to other people. It's pretty cool. I had no idea. I think my niece just told me because she's into that now. I have like 4,200 friends and there's like 600 people that follow me. I don't really know what I say that's so interesting that with that many people would follow what I have to say, but obviously it's working. So I just continue to build on it. And like I said, it's not about just real estate sales. I let people have glimpses of my life.
Great. Thank you so much. I think that's all the questions we have right now. Lori, go right on ahead.
Okay, so one of the things that's very important is sourcing your leads. You need to look at every deal that you do and find out where those leads are coming from. I know that the majority of mine comes from client referrals, so I know I need to take good care of those clients to keep that going. But if I were spending $4,500 a month from Zillow and I only sold one house from it, I would have to say that that's not the best place for me to spend my money. And you shouldn't be doing all of these things. If you spread yourself too thin, you're never going to be able to accomplish all of them and keep all the balls up in the air. I know that there's points in my career where I don't get to plan and do the things that I want to do because I have so much activity going on. I just try to make it through the day. And I try to spend a lot of time focusing on how I could do it better, how could I do it quicker, what would save me time. But you should only be doing 3 to 5 of these and do them well rather than trying to do all of them and not doing them well. Make sure that you do R&D. I know for many people that's considered research and development, but for me, it's rip off and duplicate. What you want to do is look at what other people are doing, what seems to be successful for them. I have many people that come to my office and ask me what I'm doing, or, I think I want to go get into real estate. How could I do that? I say, come follow me for a day. Come spend some time with me. And everyone that's ever asked me that, only one person has actually taken me up on it. So I think those are tire kicker people, that they're not ready to jump into a business where if you don't sell, you don't make a paycheck, and not making a paycheck is not fun for anybody. And one thing that I have always made a goal for me is education. I believe in the more you know, the more value that you have for people. So I take classes both online, in person. I myself like in-person classes, or a class like this that's live people. If I have to read it in a book and then answer a question, I lose focus. I'm suddenly thinking about that grocery list or what I have to do. I need people in my face talking to me, and I always pick up something no matter what kind of class I take. And even doing something like this, I teach because I learn from it, not because I gain anything from it other than knowledge, and I meet other people, and in doing my research, I learned something that I didn't know before. So I think education is a key. I also take basic courses, like our MLS will offer, like a basic 101 course, and I will take that because I will find out that I've been doing something in 3 steps, that there's a button you can do at once. So even though I think I know everything, it turns out that there is stuff that you can still learn. So always try to keep education in as a goal. As I said, you want to build credibility with your client base. And this is something that came to me at a Century 21 convention a few years ago. I think I was in Washington, D.C., and there was the keynote speaker was a gentleman named Simon Bailey. And it turned out he was from Buffalo, which was just kind of interesting because not many good things happen here with influential people coming out of Buffalo, but here he was with Simon Bailey. And he started with Disney. He said he went to college and he got his degree and he had a starched white shirt. And he was sitting behind the desk one day and they told him to go out and sweep the park. And he said, I'm out there and I'm pretty aggravated and I have a broom and I'm looking around at all these people thinking, here I am, college educated. What am I doing sweeping the streets at Disney? He goes, and then I had my aha moment. I looked around and realized that the average family of 4 was spending $10,000 to come here to enjoy their week. And I could be the guy that was sweeping the park, or I could be the guy that had some valuable insight for them. So somebody would come to him and say, excuse me, can you show me, tell me about the restaurant? What kind of food do you like? And he said, made it a very pleasant experience. And that's when I realized that providing a unique experience is what makes a trip to Disney magical for people. So when you convert that to real estate, I try to use that to, what can I provide as a unique experience for my client? Anyone can sell a house, anyone can type a contract, but what can I do to make it just that more special that they're going to want to tell their friends, boy, you should call Lori. And I try to always be available. I always answer my phone. It's 10 o'clock on Sunday night, 7 o'clock on Monday morning. If I'm awake, I answer my phone. And I always try to give them the feedback that they're looking for, because this is a very emotional time for people. So I refer to Simon Bailey often. He wrote a book called Shifting Your Brilliance. So you can spend your 8 hours a day and you can sweep the park and not lift your head and not talk to anybody, or you can help provide that unique experience. So what is the hardest part of executing your business plan? So as you lay awake nights, there's so many things that you think of that you can do, and you may even make a plan. You say, boy, I'm going to have to call 10 people tomorrow, and I think I'm going to do that by cold calling my past clients that I haven't talked to in a few years. And that's usually where it ends. You think about it, you plan it, but actually doing it is where it becomes a reality. In our house, when my youngest son was doing his master's degree, we used to debate topics and things for his papers. And he said this to me once, and he called it successful intelligence, that it's like a triangle. It's thinking, planning, and doing. And most people fail on the doing part. We have all kinds of ideas, but we don't follow through on it. So it's a saying at our house now, if you start a project and you don't finish it, someone will look at each other and they'll say, are you successfully intelligent about that? Are you actually going to do something about it to complete that triangle? So I think it's important that if you think about it and plan it, take the time to do it. So these are secrets to working your business plan. So if you know what your goals are, these are the things that you need to look at to help make your business plan a success. The first thing is just do it. If you're going to commit to making this plan, or you're thinking what you're going to do, or you want to sell some more real estate, the only way you're going to do is just do it. Plan it and take the time and make the effort. You need to know the consequences of not doing your plan. So if I know to earn that $50,000 that I have to contact 10 people a day, and I say, oh, I don't feel like it today, I'm going to do it tomorrow, it means I have to contact 20 people tomorrow. And if I let it go for a week, by the end of the week, now I have to contact 50 people. Chances of me contacting those 50 are probably slim to none. Your data needs to be reviewed weekly and adjusted. So my goal is to sell a house a week. Now I'm in a market that's so competitive that just isn't working out right now. Fortunately, I list as well as selling houses. If you were a buyer's agent now, you're just dying on the vine until we get some inventory here. So I need to review of what I can do in my market that's within my control, that I can help myself to try to earn a little share of that business. You need to make your goals, post them, share them, be accountable. That goes back to that dieting thing. If you're on a secret diet, nobody knows about it. It's a lot easier to cheat than if everybody around you knows that you're dieting. If people know that you're going to make your 10 phone calls, make sure that you let people know. Say, hey, I'm going to go do that now, and have somebody ask you, did you end up doing what you said you were going to do today? Be accountable. You need a system. So people kind of laugh at me because I do these things the same way every time, but I need to because of the volume that I do. So I have a whiteboard in my office that I keep all of my deals on while they're active. When I get paid for them, they get erased from the board and the new deals get added to it. I also have a spreadsheet that I keep of my deals that tells me where it came from, what attorney was used, what mortgage company was used. Obviously the dollar amount, whether it was the buy side or the sell side. And it keeps me focused, but it also keeps the people around me. People talk about the whiteboard all the time, like, oh, things are going pretty good now, or oh, things are drying up. You don't have so much going on there. I think it's important that you post it because it's a constant reminder of where you've been and where you're headed. Learn to do what you do best and outsource the rest. If you're going to pick those 3 to 5 things that are going to help you sell more real estate, figure out what you like to do best. If you hate the idea of door knocking, don't make that one of your 3 to 5 things. Well, there are other things that you can outsource. So if you want to send out postcards, hire a company to do it for you if it's not something that you want to do yourself, or a college student or an intern. I like what we call touch and go systems, things that you set up once that you don't have to do again, like the Century 21 e-greetings. All you have to do is put your client's email address in and let that take care of itself. It's not something that you have to monitor daily and add input to. Do you have another question there, Brian?
No, that was someone that came off mute, but there are some questions in the chat, but I'm going to let you finish this up because I love this part.
Okay. Um, so one of the things is that you need to have a schedule. You can't go to bed at night saying, I wonder what I'm going to do tomorrow. And then when you get up in the morning, say, oh, I wonder what time I'm going to go to the office. When my kids were school age, I used to drop them off at school at 8 a.m. and I'd be at the office at 8:15. And I'm like, I can't believe nobody's here. Like, what's up with these real estate agents? They never get going in the morning. Now that my kids are adults and I don't have them going to school anymore, I'm not at the office at 8:15 anymore. Not that I needed to be, but I feel like I lose time if I don't get up and get going. I'm definitely a morning person. So you need to set whatever your morning ritual is. I said I start my day reading all my emails every morning. So I feel like I have control over my day and I know where my day is heading. I have the speaker in my car and I spend a lot of time on when I'm in the car doing return phone calls and things because I think it makes it more productive than waiting till I get to the office to start doing that. And there should always be some form of lead generation in your schedule. One thing that's unique about our company, and obviously it's pre-pandemic, is we used to have lunch together almost every day. And the owner of my firm is in his 80s and has been in the business for over 50 years. And we would discuss every real estate topic there ever was and how things were handled and how it's different in the past and how it's different in the future and who's got trouble with what deals. It was like having a business meeting every day. And I think I have gained so much knowledge just from eating lunch at my office, more than I could from sitting through any class. And you also need to schedule an end to your day. It doesn't always work out that way, but I know when I was trying to gain market share and I was working so many crazy hours, I stopped being fun. Someone would say, hey, do you want to go to lunch next Thursday? And be like, are you kidding me? What if I have to show a house? And now I've learned that I put that in my schedule. I say next Thursday, sure. What time? Noon? Great. Someone calls me to see a house. I say I can show it to you anytime up until 11 and then after 2. And then that way I know that I've scheduled time for myself to get that work home life balance, which has always been a struggle. The other thing, again, here they have education on here and they have that as the office meeting, but there's so many YouTube videos and I like to get topics from all different people. I seem to kind of focus on Tom Ferry, that I like his message, but I listen to probably half a dozen different ones and it could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Sometimes I listen to them in the car when you feel like you need some motivation, because you start to feel like you're an island because you're out there by yourself. It's not like a team effort when you're out showing houses. And when you hear other people going through the same struggles as you, I find it makes it a little bit easier to know that not that other people are in the same boat as I am. Secret number 8 is forgive yourself. No matter what you have on your schedule and all the good intentions that you have for the day, it doesn't always happen. And sometimes you forget things and sometimes you don't do the best job that you can do. But if you're always self-evaluating and thinking how you could do better, I think you'll see results. But remember, forgive yourself because we aren't perfect. Secret number 9 is an accountability partner. Having somebody that will listen to you, that understands the business. I have a gentleman that works with me that I can call him and say, hey, something happened with the home inspection, blah, blah, blah. I can get through that conversation in 5 minutes. Where if I try to tell somebody that's not in the business, they're like, well, I thought they already had an offer. Like, okay, forget it. It's not worth trying to explain it to you. So having somebody that holds you accountable, if you tell them, look, make sure that before I leave the office that I made those 10 phone calls a day, ask me about it. That really helps when you know that you're going to be accountable to somebody. So this is the recap. Do you want me to go through here or would you like to answer or ask the questions?
Let's go through some questions first, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Great. So
Still there, Brian? Oh, looking like I lost Brian's audio here. We just maybe lost Brian. So I guess I'll go through a little bit of a recap till he pops back on. So what you should do is always look in January back at what you did the previous year. I know last year I sold about $10 million of real estate, and I look to see how can I do that again this year? You know, how much money did I receive for doing that? What are my expenses? You know, that always comes up at tax time, so you learn. Look at where you can trim expenses. Like I said, if you're, you know, paying money to Zillow and you realize that you're not getting advertising, or if you're paying for Circle Picks or something like that, but you're not using all the data that they have for you, it's time to cut those things out and look for things that are going to better serve you, or try something different. You should always know your number of deals and the lead sources from where they came from. Set the goals for yourself. Make them smart, make them achievable. Learn what those numbers are that you need to achieve those goals. Create a daily schedule and stick to it. There are certain things that I know, like every January, I go through all my online bios and I update them to be sure that the content is relevant. There's nothing worse than somebody looking you up and it says that she's the 2004 winner of something. You're wondering what you've done since 2004. One thing that you should look at too is what is the list of challenges that are preventing you from reaching your goals, and then figure out a way to overcome them. So right now, what's preventing me from reaching the goals that I set for myself is our low inventory. So if I can find a way to overcome that, what I've been trying to do is make everything a little sharper, working on my listing presentation. When I am dealing with a customer, putting that extra effort forward to make sure that they pick me as their selection, just so that I can get my share of the business. And remember, this is a fluid document. Whatever your business plan is, it can be reviewed and adjusted, and you should do that weekly. Build that into your schedule and look at what is available to you and what you can do to change it to make the next week an even better week. So this was just.
Oh, hi, I'm sorry. In terms of the questions, I'm not sure what happened with Brian.
Yeah, I lost him.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I was gone for a minute. I apologize.
There he is.
No problem. Would you be able to go over the category heads from your, the titles from your pipeline?
The one that had the pie chart on it?
Not the pie chart, but your pipeline, when you have things going through the process with the attorney review and the mortgage lender.
So, so are you talking about like how a transaction goes for us?
Oh, I'm sorry, you just went by it. It was the pipeline.
Was it the whiteboard?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So this isn't actually my whiteboard. That's why I guess I didn't realize it. Mine's different. It's behind me. You can kind of see the corner of it right here. And I don't know if I can turn it and see. There is the dates of the transaction, the address that I sold, the client's name, the other real estate agent's name, mortgage company, commitment date, and closing date. So, you know, I probably am working with, in a normal year, probably 20 buyers at a time. And I get an agent that calls and says, oh, did you receive the commitment? And I'm thinking, for who? You know, and I always know that I can turn over my shoulder and it's going to be there. And I know
Gotcha.
it's my level of the way I do things. Also, if it's on my whiteboard, it means I've already filled out a deal envelope and I've turned it into my office manager. So she'll say to me, I don't have the deal for that. I go, yes, you do, because it's on the whiteboard, you know, and everybody knows if it's on my board, I did everything I was supposed to do. That's the very last thing I do in my transaction because I do everything in the same process.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for piping in there for me. Yes, and then we were talking about, can you hear me, Lori?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
Okay, great. We were talking about accountability partners, and Eric, actually, in your office, was talking about the new Century 21 University app, which is a great accountability partner. So if you have had the opportunity to go to the App Store in Apple or the Google Play Store, I believe, on Android, I don't know what it is because I'm an Apple person. I apologize. To download the app, that it's really good. I mean, I downloaded it and I just downloaded it to look at it, and every day it reminds me. It literally sends a message to my watch that says, "You didn't hit your goal today," and I think that's a pretty cool accountability partner. So thank you, Eric, for bringing that up. Let's see. We have a question about. Could you show the SMART slide again for goals, your SMART slide? I think Zaya wants to take a picture perhaps. And as we do that, there are questions about what are the touch and go systems?
So for me, what a touch and go system is something that I do once and I don't have to touch it again. So I do Century 21 Preferred Client Club, which I don't have to do anything. My office manager does it. And that sends stuff to my clients for 5 years. I think it's really high quality, and I think the price is inexpensive. And it costs, it's like $40 for 5 years for your clients or something. And my broker actually splits it with us. So it costs me $20 to contact my client for 5 years, which I think is fantastic. Other touch and go systems, like I said, anything, of course, you can't think of one when I'm trying to do it, but something that I set up that I don't have to touch every time I go to do something. One thing that we didn't talk about was reviews. A goal can be asking your client for reviews. So there was one time that I was in a class in Albany, which is like 5 hours from home, and it was about marketing yourself online and what people think about you. And I was at the beginning of the class, and of course I was it hadn't started yet, and I was typing something, and a guy comes up to me and he goes, Lori Adams. I look up like, what? Like, what's going on? And he's like, well, I'm the instructor here today. And he goes, what I try to do is I pick out people's names in the class, and I say to him, hey, Lori, you got a rabbit, I see, because of reaching online, people don't realize the stuff that they put out and how other people interpret it. He goes, well, the one thing that I wanted to tell you was that I went online and I found that you had 120 reviews written by your clients, and I was reading them all. I've never seen so many nice reviews for one person that were so detailed, and that's quite impressive to me. And I'm thinking, you're the instructor of the class. I'm just somebody here sitting here taking it, but I don't solicit them. I don't ask people to do them. Century 21 sends a survey, people do it. But if you're sincere about what you do and you care about what you do, that follows. And I think with reviews, that's something that's important because you think it's not important, but I know myself, if I'm going to look at if I want to stay at a hotel, I'm like, ooh, the last 3 people said it was dirty, I'm not going there. Well, that's the same thing people are doing with us. So you want to be sure that there are some reviews out there. If there's no reviews at all, they're going to think you're inexperienced, not that you're just not asking for them.
Good points. I love that. Yeah, just make it a system. I love that. Hilda just put in the chat, touch and goes. I can think of Golden Ruler,
Yep.
Business Builder, Zap Campaigns. So good job, Hilda, there. Thank you. I'm going backwards up the chat here. Blanca, thank you so much for answering that question. The question, I was speaking of the Century 21 University app. So if you are looking for the app, it's the same in the App Store as it is in Google Play. It would be Century 21 University, and that's our new app for the university. There was another question here. Lots of questions about the app. Thank you. Yep, got that. Can you share the recap slide again? We're bouncing all around your presentation here,
Okay.
Lori.
What's the recap slide?
I think that was the slide before the cartoon, maybe?
Oh, okay, yep.
And as we get to that slide, there's another question. What techniques do you use for farming?
So I don't. The thing that I think is kind of funny is I teach a course at our local board called Business Planning for Success. And I swear they asked me to teach it because I really didn't have one. I just always worked hard every day. If something needed to be done, I did it. But because so much of my business is referral, I'm all over the place. So for me, I mean, it's in my geographic area, obviously, but if my friend needs me to go somewhere that's 30 miles away, I go there. So I'm not necessarily farming a specific region. I'm farming my friends, my acquaintances, my contacts. So I don't concentrate on just where I live in the north end of a town. It's more rural than most areas around us. So it's not that I do, I've never farmed. I think about it, but I don't do it.
Great, thank you for letting us know that. And as we mentioned about business planning, when you put together your plan, you're looking at every source. And Laura, you specifically said how many to do, not all, right? How many did
Yep,
you say?
3 to 5.
There you
3
go.
to 5. Yep. And that's
It
what you have to
doesn't-
find out what you're good at.
Exactly.
Or what makes you happy. Like I said, I enjoy interacting with people. I love meeting people. So that's the best thing for me, is to do something that I can interact with somebody rather than like financial things are not my forte. If you wanted, I would never join a stock market group because I'd be looking out the window the entire time. But if I have a Labradoodle, if I were to join a dog group, I can be very interactive with those people because I'm passionate about what I do. You just have to figure out what your passion is and follow it.
Awesome. And Janice brought up that farming was a big part of her chart. So Janice, I just want to let you know on that, that was just a graphic. It wasn't actually her business planning chart.
Very
That's just
true.
a graphic. Okay. Great. I don't see any other questions. If people are chatting or if you're typing in the chat, we're going to let you wrap up here, Lori, and I'll see if any other questions come on in.
Yep, actually, that is where I had my wrap up here, and it was really just to say I found this cartoon that I thought it was pretty funny. You start out your day and you have all good intentions and you're headed to the office, and it says today's forecast called for scattered frustrations by a brief storm of criticism and a flurry of random distractions. And that's just how your day is going to go sometimes, but you need to feel fulfilled with what you do. And if you follow your plan, the business will follow.
I love it. I love it. Laura, you know what? You have given so many good tips today, and it's great because it really is good for us to go in and take a look at someone who's doing it and find out that expert advice from someone who's doing it every single day. And thank you so much. Let's see if there are any other questions. I see a lot of things popping up and everyone seems to be giving you love, which we love showing the love. Thank you. James, there is a recording that is available that you can go to Celebrate 21 Learning Sessions. As I mentioned earlier, www.celebrate21learningsessions.splashthat.com. Let's see, will you be sending the recording? No, Peggy, all recordings will be in that site at the Celebrate 21 Learning Sessions.splashthat.com. Great, there's some questions about people want accountability partners. That's great if you're putting that in there. Also, go to Workplace and you could ask there for if someone wanted to be your accountability partner as well. Yes, want to do that and go back over there. Great, great. So let's see. Go ahead, Lori.
I was teaching this course one other time, and an agent that was there told me all the things that she was doing. And she was baking pies and dropping it off to all her clients for holidays. She was having 2 parties a year for her clients. She would do do video recordings of her singing happy birthday or doing birthday wishes to all her Facebook people and sending each of them a video recording. And I remember teaching the class thinking, oh my goodness, I don't do any of this stuff. You know, this is crazy. She should be teaching the class and I should be sitting on the other side. And then I went back and looked up her statistics, and she sold 11 houses that year and I sold 60. And that's really what made me realize that you have to do what works for you. Maybe she enjoys what she's doing, but I know that I couldn't go through all that effort to only sell 11 houses. So good for her, and she gave me some good ideas, but just because people are busy doesn't always mean they're productive.
So true. So true. Thank you. I love that. She sold 11 and you sold 60, right? There's a lot of people asking for the site. Again, I put it into the chat, celebrate21learningsessions.splashthat.com. What you're seeing on the screen here is the actual registration site for the Celebrate 21 overall site. So you can actually get to it there, but it would just go to the full learning schedule to get to the recordings. Lori, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for all this amazing information. You know, it's.
Thank you, Brian.
It is really good, and it's been a pleasure working with you. A lot of people are saying great advice. Thank you. So motivating. So good job there. Thank you. For those of you who are still with us right now, before you log off, be sure to check us out again. Tomorrow will be our general session at 3 p.m. with, what's his name? John O'Leary. I had to look that up. John O'Leary, our speaker tomorrow. And then, of course, on Thursday, we'll be back here for our agent learning session where Matt Hornaday from Century 21 Stein Posner is going to be talking about the listing presentation, another rock house in the business, another very, very successful agent who will be talking about the listing presentation. So, and then we're going to wrap it up on Friday. We're going to bring everyone back. Lori, we will have Matt, and we will have our speaker from yesterday who just went, boom, my mind just went. But we'll all be coming back in on Friday for a special panel of subject matter experts. So we'll see you throughout the week. Thank you, Herman. It was good to see you. Blanca, Eric, all of my familiar friends, thank you so much. And guys, have a great, great week. Take care. Thanks.